Hello, hello. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the stream.
What is with my closed captions? That's a wild thing.
What did I say
That's
according
like,
to the closed captions?
oh, it's me. It's like, oh, honey, I need to move the head over.
Oh, baby, we haven't gotten to that part of the game yet.
Oh my goodness.
Amazing.
No heads, no balls, no nothing yet.
No,
Yeah.
nothing. We gotta ease into it, you know?
Mm-hmm. You gotta lube up the bones.
That's so right, you know? So,
The last time I played this, I was just a skull, so
so you have played this before.
yes.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Alright, nice. Well, this is my first time, so I'm gonna let you drive the boat, as it were.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'll welcome in. I mean, it's good to see
Welcome,
you.
welcome.
Welcome everyone. So yeah, Tombs, also known as Toot on my ball skeleton, is a specifically a two-player or like two-player minimum TTRPG about skeletons fucking,
Indeed.
or at least attempting to fuck. If skeletons can fuck,
We,
who's to say?
you know, they can certainly try. And I believe that they'll succeed. Somehow.
At the very least, they should enjoy themselves.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so excited to play this. I've been really looking forward to it since you mentioned it to me.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun the first time I played it. It's a very simplistic game, but the vibes are immaculate, and I think it does a good job of representing the silly yet like the silliness that can come with intimacy, and like not to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it's a rules light TTRPG. You mainly use dice to generate your skeletons in like the situation, and then you just role play those, that situation. So this may be fairly short. I don't know. When I first played it, I think we ended up like 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I
Nice.
think.
Yeah, I was reading through it earlier, and I wasn't exactly sure. It feels like it could take sort of as long or as short as you want it to, based on the like extent of your role play kind of thing, and how in depth you want to get.
But yeah, we can just jump into this. We can we
right.
can read through it and then we can play it, or we can read and play at the same time.
Do you want to sort of like read along as we go, and then sort of just work our way through the steps?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. You are welcome to read. I can also read some. I love reading out loud, so I'm happy to do some of that. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we can take turns. That will be very fitting with what we're going to be doing.
Indeed. Alrighty. Sounds good.
Yeah, so the order of play. 1, out loud, take turns reading through the introduction, author's notes, safety tools, and material section. 2, create a character using the character creation section. 3, read the roll the bones section so you know what to do at the end of each minigame. 4, play through each of the minigames in sequence.
All right. Shall I take us through the introduction?
Yes.
Sometimes when two people meet, sparks fly. Sometimes two of those people meet guarding a sorcerer's castle, being called to arms on an ancient battlefield, or emerging from a damp and musty crypt. When you met, you were both skeletons. You're both down to bone. Unfortunately, while you remember puns, you can't quite remember how to do sex. You've been dead for eons and barely remember what sex is like, let alone how to make it happen. But doesn't it always feel like that when you've had a dry spell? Tombs, aka Toot on my ball skeleton, is about you, and you are two or more skeletons. You're both horny and up for each other's sex, but over the millennia you've forgotten how sex works. This set of role-playing minigames are here to help you reconnect with your sex and life. And it works by your experience together in Tombs is told through a series of mini-games. Each game will help flesh out some missing aspect of your history, your sexual wants and needs, and the sex you have.
Safety tools. This game handles some really serious subject matter in a very goofy way. Whether or not you think you'll need it, it's worth having some safety mechanisms in place for play. Before you start playing, I highly recommend discussing together your boundaries and safety tools you will use. I recommend using tools like lines and veils, the X card, the traffic light system. Information on these and other safety tools can be found in the TTRPG Safety Toolkit created by Lauren Bryant Monk and Kiana Shaw. Also, I came up with this version of the 3 common principles of BDSM, and it's too funny not to put them here. Safe, sane, consensual skeletons. A short summary of lines and veils and the X card. Lines and veils refer to where you draw the line at the table and which activities you decide not to show. It's your veils. For example, when discussing safety at the table, you could say, I draw the line at explicit depictions of sex, and you could both agree to not cross that line during play. As an additional clarification, you could agree that while explicit sex won't be described, you could still state that these 2 characters have sex without going into detail. This is an example of a veil, something that is referenced in play but not explicitly described. While lines and veils are a proactive safety mechanism discussed before play, X cards are deployed during play to handle unexpected situations. In short, if a player is at any time uncomfortable with what has happened, they can say they want to play the X card and the topic or action is dropped. Ideally, the use of an X card should be accompanied by a break in play to check in, see if everyone is okay, and discuss what needs to be changed in the future to make the game safe. As a personal example, I will almost always draw a line at any depiction of sexual assault or violence and put a veil over any explicit descriptions of violence and gore. Putting these limits in place helps me let my guard down and get into whatever role I'm playing.
Very good. We could continue, or we could take a pause here to, if we want to establish our lines and veils and boundaries and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's good. Good thing to do.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I am sort of on the same page as the author of the PDF. I would draw a line on sexual assault, violence, and peril, and I don't mind maybe regular discussions of regular violence or gore. So I don't know about that, but I mean, I wouldn't get too crazy probably. The one thing I probably would say is that I probably wouldn't feel comfortable like describing specific like sexual acts once we get to that part. Like, I would probably have it be a fade to black situation, but I would be totally up for, like, you know, discussing obviously the before, the after, like what happened during that time, just not like, you know, the act itself in its entirety, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah. And obviously whatever you have on your mind.
No, I think that's good stuff for me. I agree with those. I don't have anything else to add to that. And, you know, obviously we are doing this on Twitch. You can't get too crazy on Twitch, even if you do have, you know, certain
True.
tags.
And, you know, it's hard to say because it is, I mean, all of the characters are skeletons. So it's kind of hard to say what would count. But I think those are good guidelines to start off with.
And I think a lot with safety tools, I have not like used them very what's the word? I guess procedurally, like this, having like specific tools, like we're using lines and veils,
Mhm.
we're using X card, because the people I play with, I trust to just be able to communicate. And I think that's ultimately what safety tools
Mhm.
are. The point is to give people a way to communicate in a way that everyone understands.
Yeah, totally. I feel the same way. I have read a lot about them, sort of conceptually, but I think like um it's really helpful to have them as a framework, I think, to get the
Mm-hmm.
discussion started. Um I don't tend to use them super like technically, I guess. Um but, you know, it's always good
Mm-hmm.
to have them, especially in a game like this. So,
Yeah, especially like when you're playing with new people.
yeah, that's true. It's been a long time since I played games with new people, so
Mm-hmm.
it's good to remember.
I really like the picture for this. It's like has a skeleton. What looks like they're like matching on
It's
Tinder.
really cute. I love this skeleton. I wish them all the best.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What would skeleton Tinder be called?
Uh Boner but with no E, I think.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm writing that down.
Mm.
There we go. It's official.
I'm so glad. And good luck to them. Shall we
Yeah, I think we're good to move on.
go on to materials? I can read that. Um
Mm-hmm.
Required materials. These can be physical or digital. Something to write on, something to write with, and 2 six-sided dice. Um, I am doing this physically. I have a notebook and a pencil and some actual d6s, but I assume that you can also do it like on, you know, whatever digital sort of platform that you want to use. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
optional materials, or for returning players who want to spice things up. The Roll the Bones minigame, which we will learn about soon, is designed for 6-sided dice, but allows for the use of other fortune telling tools, such as tarot decks, entrails, shin bones, if you happen to have either of those on hand, and anything listed on the Methods of Divination Wikipedia page.
Unfortunately, I'm all out of shin bones. I nod on them too much.
Oh, yeah, well, there you go.
I'll have to find some more bones.
Yeah, I think that's true. So I believe we will be using dice, but
Mm-hmm.
it would be certainly interesting to. I feel like using like a tarot deck or some kind of card deck for the roll the bones mechanic would be pretty cool. Um,
That
but
makes me wonder if there's like a tarot deck that's specifically all skeleton themed, but
there's
also
gotta
all
be.
lewd skeleton themed.
Okay, well, I don't know about that. I do in my heart wish that it existed, and if it does, I'm so glad. But I don't know. I'm sure there must be a skeleton themed one though.
Like the skeleton on page 8 looks like it's about to throw it back.
Yeah, for real. That rat is just minding its own business. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just walking across the street, man. I don't know.
Oh, they're ratted again.
Yeah. This could
That's
even,
cute.
I mean, according to some of the rules that we will see very soon, this picture, which I do not have on my screen, uh, but if one is looking at the PDF, this picture could be 2 skeletons, potentially even.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
It could be like the skull of one and the body of another. Maybe that's what skeleton sex is. Wow.
You know what? You might be onto something. Because there is some odd shaped bones going on. It's like making
Yeah.
like a tail.
And there's things in places where like I'm not an anatomy expert, but I know this is not what a skeleton looks like under normal circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know a lot about bones, but not that kind of bone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I can read over the character creation section
Yeah.
now.
Go for it.
For the duration of this game, you will be pretending to be some kind of sentient skeleton. Tombs is designed for you to discover who your skeleton is over the course of play, It's important to remember that your skeleton only has a vague idea of who they are and what they want. So when coming up with a character, we want to mainly stick to their look, their style, and their secret name. By yourself or talking together, go through these steps and create your skeleton. Pick a look for your skeleton, either from your head or using the list below. Pick a style for your skeleton from the list below. Read the gender section and have a think about the gender for a second. Pick a name for your skeleton, but don't share it yet. It's a secret. And 5, reading the finishing character creation section and share with each who you are so far. You want me to go through the rest of this part? Or you want to jump in?
I don't mind. I can read the next page if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for look, you might immediately have a very clear idea of what your skeleton looks like. In that case, great. But if you don't, feel free to consult the very scientific skeleton subtype lists below. Skeleton subtype lists. Status. Whole. A whole human skeleton, every bone is where you expect. Part. Most of a human skeleton in some configuration. Maybe you've lost your leg bones, maybe you're a head attached to some hips. Bit. You're one part of a skeleton, like a skull or a hand that wanders around. Or other. Anything goes. Maybe you're not a human skeleton. Maybe you're only partially a human skeleton. Condition. Clean. Just bones. Maybe there's some dirt and grime. Maybe you're all polished up. Nasty. Bones with all sorts of gunk on them. Maybe dirt and moss. Maybe rotting flesh. Maybe a family of songbirds have made a nest. Magic. You've donned a robe and wizard's hat, or maybe you glow a startling shade of blue. Either way, you look extremely magical. Armor. A classic fantasy trope, you're covered in some kind of impressive medieval armor, or maybe you've had some kind of metal plated directly onto your bones, like everyone's favorite Canadian mutant. Or big. You're as big as a house, or maybe bigger. Think Mitsukuni define the skeleton specter invoked by Princess Takayasha by Utagawa Kuniyoshi, or the 12-foot-tall Home Depot skeleton. And gender and pronouns. It's entirely possible to play TOMBS without gendered pronouns, or gender coming up at all. However, if you decide that gender is important to your skeleton, or important to the world you want to play in, or sex you want to have, then you can and should pick a gender and pronouns for your skeleton. Are they neopronouns if they belong to a 10,000-year-old lich? That's a great question.
That is a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I can jump in again.
Yeah.
Style. More than your look, your style is about how people perceive you when you walk into a room. Obviously, as a corpse, your style range is a little bit different from the average, but it's still something you have some control over. Pick a style from the list below. Spooky, scary, skeleton, captivating, mysterious, horrifying, ethereal, weird, bewildering, nauseating. Name. Come up with a name for your skeleton, but keep it a secret. A skeleton's name is an important thing. This will come up in the game later on. Finishing character creation. Once you have both come up with a skeleton you're happy with, you should describe them to the other player.
Okay.
So do you want to do that?
Yeah, we can create some skeletons. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to sort of do it together? Do you want to do it separately and then come back to convene?
I think we could do it together, like do, each part like status, then conditioned, and
yeah,
all that stuff.
Works for me.
It is interesting because we use D6s, but like the status, for instance, it's only 4, so you'd have to roll a D4.
Yes.
If you just want to roll.
I am not sure if I want to roll or if I just want to choose, because I feel like an image of a skeleton came to me like as if in a dream, but I also like a little bit of randomness, so.
Well, if you want to go with what you imagine, I can do all random.
Yeah, that works for me. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, let me grab a, where's the closest thing that's like a D4? Where's a D8? Oh, come here, dice. Oh, I found a D8. There we go.
Excellent.
Okay. So I got bit. So I am part of a skeleton, like a skull, a hand that wanders around. I'm gonna
Okay.
roll again for that to get what part I am.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. We'll have head, torso, arms, feet. So that's another D4. What's that? That's a 2?
I believe that was torso, yes?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
torso.
Very nice. Just sort of a ribcage situation.
Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
That is. Then there's condition. That is
Mm-hmm.
5.
I guess you could do
We'll
like a
just roll.
D10 and
Oh,
cut it
that's
in half.
true. I got a 2, so that's nasty.
Okay, yeah, hell yeah. Awesome. What
Oh,
are
getting dirty with it.
what dirty nasty stuff do you have?
Let's see. I'm a torso. I'll roll again. We'll do odds, evens. Odds is like a natural thing, so it could be like plant overgrowth, while even is some sort of, like city-based gunk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got odds, so that's natural.
Okay. We can also, because I know that later in the sort of setup, we will determine by dice roll where we
Mm-hmm.
start the game. So maybe
Oh, that's true.
that will affect like what kind of thing it is that you have sort of been accumulating.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, mud
Welcome in,
animal.
Colton. We're just getting into making our skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then there's. I feel like if my skeleton was to use pronouns at all, it would be like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
Okay, cool. Um, so I have been thinking about my skeleton, and I think I do want to roll for something. I think I want to roll for my status, because I feel like the condition I have a strong thought, but for the status I'm not super sure. So I'm gonna also grab a d4 and just see how much of my skeleton remains.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 1, so I'm whole, I guess. Hell yeah.
You're whole,
And
and I'm whole.
indeed, yes, that's perfect. Um, my concept for my condition or my sort of thing is I have this idea of a skeleton that has been like I don't know if you've seen them, but there's these really cool like skeletons that have been sort of decorated in like golden stuff, like encrusted with
Mm-hmm.
gems, and like they have this like golden sort of head plate thing, and it's really really cool looking. um it might be Catholic, but I'm not sure. But
Yeah, I
it's
think that
like,
is like for saints and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but like I have an idea, sort of something like that. Maybe a little less elegant. Like I'm not like a queen skeleton, but just
Mm-hmm.
like some sort of like golden like headdress or something like sort of embedded into the bones of the skull. Um and maybe other bones as well, but just like sort of have been decorated in death, so whatever their sort of situation is, they were clearly treated um, by some other entity after death with, this sort of decoration and adorned that way.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I just like the idea of like bedazzling a
Mm-hmm.
skeleton.
Yeah. It's really really beautiful. I love looking at that. So as soon as I saw the one that says like, "Oh, maybe you've had metal plated onto your bones," I was like, "Yes, that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what I want." Um, But I guess I wasn't sure if I should be a whole skeleton, but apparently I am. Oh. And I honestly, I think this is awesome because I love the contrast between our two skeletons. I think it's really, really cool.
Yeah, I am
uh,
the gruff, worn
uh-huh.
skeleton, the princess.
As for gender, I don't know that my skeleton has a gender. I think that they can use any pronouns that they want and they don't care.
Mhm.
So, when you're a skeleton, there's really not much to be getting on with in that department, I feel.
I'm very pointy.
Indeed. I just
Nothing
want
but
to
red.
I want to shout out in the PDF just something that I really liked about how the author worded this for number 3 in the character creation steps, where it says read the gender section and have a think about gender for a second. I just love that it
Mhm.
doesn't really say pick a gender, pick your pronouns, like whatever. It just says just think about it. Just give it a little
Mhm.
think and then, move on. I just really liked that.
Yeah, because like, what is gender when you're just bones? Is it
Yeah.
anything?
It could be or it could not be, I guess. Up to you. But yeah.
And I also like how where it says like, is it important to the world or the sex you're having? As in, like,
Mm-hmm.
gender can be a role that you are engaging with as
Yeah.
an act of sex, rather than it being something that you're like predefined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really, really interesting to think about.
But I think that means we're now on to style.
We are, yes. Let's see.
And I think style will help a lot with what
Mm-hmm. Totally.
my torso looks like.
Yeah. You gonna roll for
Let's
that as well?
see. Yes, and that's a 10.
Yeah.
I like the chaos of
Yeah.
rolling.
It's fun.
Oh, I got a 2 again, so I'm scary.
Okay, let's go. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, I'm gonna roll as well because I don't actually know. Hang on, let me look at my D10. I gotta figure out if this is a 10 or a 1. Uh, it is a 1. So I'm spooky.
Spooky and scary?
Spooky and scary skeletons. How about that?
My favorite kind.
Yeah. That's good. So we're getting the vibes off to a good start.
Mm-hmm.
These two are just like very off-putting.
Okay, so now we need to come up with our names, and we do not share our names.
Okay.
So I think it'll be fun if we just mentally decide
Mhm.
our name and not share it until it would come up.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
written down my name, and if it should come up, then we shall reveal it. It does really send shivers down your spine. It does.
Let me get a random notebook and I'll write it down. Hmm. Okay.
You got your
It
name?
has been written down, and pen that's
Excellent.
permanent.
I can read the next section if we like.
Um, I was thinking, I was going to do a little write up about what my skeleton is, but we are going to be
Yeah,
rolling for location.
if you want to do that, I'm totally down.
Yeah, because I think I'm still kind of figuring out what my skeleton looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird thing because I'm scary, I'm nasty, and I'm just a torso.
Yeah. Do, well,
Hmm.
I guess I was looking at, because I wrote down your options for what part you were, and arms was one of the options. Because I was going to ask if you had any arms attached to your torso, but no, it sounds like no, unless you want to add arms.
Okay, so I think I'm going to do something that I don't like myself because I'm afraid of spiders, but I think my torso, the ribs have become like legs.
Ew.
Yeah.
Creepy. I like it though.
He's like
Well, you are
spider-like
scary, so it is appropriate.
with a like some sort of canine-esque head.
Ooh, okay, okay.
Sort of
Oh, yeah.
like the anime Magus Bride, like that actually that might be a deer head now that I think about it.
Mm. Yeah, they're sort of vaguely similar, but I think I have an image of what you mean. Very cool.
Okay, I think it sense enough. I got spider-like torso with deer head, spine curling into a tail, black gunk coats its once beautiful bones like jelly.
Very nice. All right. I guess. Let's see. How would I describe? I should have been writing, but I wasn't. I was thinking too hard.
That's fine. You can you can write in your brain. You don't have to write on paper.
Yeah, all right. So let's see. My skeleton is a tall and pristine skeleton adorned in gold decor. The eye sockets of whom I think have a dark void at the back of which you can just sort of make out a pinprick of white light that is very unnerving to look upon.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how our bones are going to bone.
That is for the game to decide.
Yeah.
Or for the game to help us facilitate how it will go, but I'm excited to find out.
Are you ready to move on to the rolling the bones section?
Yeah, I'm ready. I can read that if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Roll the Bones is a short dice roll done at the end of each minigame. It gives you a chance to reflect and divine how your encounter is going. At the end of each minigame, roll 2 6-sided dice. When you have the dice results, it's your role to collaboratively interpret them. There's no wrong or right way to do this, and it can be as short or as long a process as you want. Example questions: are high numbers good or bad? If the numbers are far apart, does that mean things are going good or bad? The die fell off the table, what does that mean? Did a die land on either of your favorite numbers, and what does that mean? Does this result predict what happens next, or judge what just happened? And if you get the same result in different games, does that mean the same thing or a different thing? Do you have any initial thoughts about any of these?
Sorry, I had to sneeze real quick. Yeah, I think those are a good base, and I do have a tarot deck if we want to use that as well.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm down. I think that could be interesting for sure. I have several tarot decks in my house, but I do not have the knowledge to interpret them. But if you feel like
I mainly just
you
go
do,
off
then
the
go for
vibes,
it.
like what my brain
Mm-hmm.
tells me. But I do have this little booklet. At least, wait, where is the little booklet? It's somewhere.
Mm.
But this one is a anime inspired tarot deck with Truck Coon as the death card.
Ooh, interesting. That sounds fun. I actually do have... Here, I'll go get it really quick. It's just across the room. I have a tarot deck that's not tarot, but it's like... It's still a divination deck.
Mm-hmm.
I think I see it on the bookshelf over there. I'll be right back.
Yeah, ultimately, like you can use anything as sort of a divination, inspiration object. Like I've seen in solo TTRPGs that recommend just grabbing a book, flipping to a random page, and like reading a sentence, and using that as like a spark for whatever you're trying to use as an oracle.
I'm back, and I have the
Welcome
deck.
back.
It is a deck of Brian Froud's fairy paintings. And they're all like I said, they're not tarot, but they are very vibey and they have really cool illustrations. If you're familiar with Brian Froud, and they are named very cool names. So might as well just have these on hand in case we want to do anything with them.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. We can do we could do cards, dice, a mix, whatever we're feeling.
Mm-hmm. And I think that means we are actually on to our first mini game.
Okay. Let me scroll down. All right.
The bone setting.
Indeed.
It's not exactly love at first sight, but sometimes you meet someone and want a bone. Maybe you have an unexpectedly electric conversation. Maybe it's the end of a night and you're bored. Or someone has a curse they're trying anything they can to lift. When you're a skeleton, this can happen in some unusual places. How this game works? In this game, you will work out how you met and then what place you find to do it in. Together, you will roll the dice to pick places from the common skeleton locations table below. Then you'll add your own details to make it unique. Steps. The first part of this game is figuring out how you met. Roll 2 6-sided dice. Use the 2 numbers on the dice to get a place from the common skeleton location table. For example, if you roll a 3 and a 6, you could use them in either order to get a crypt or a lake. This is the place you first met. Take a minute to work out what brought you both to this place. Were you running an errand? Is this a hookup spot for skeletons? Were you just looking for some alone time? Once each, say what catches your eye about the other skeleton. Metaphorically, of course, who knows how skeletons see? Once you've picked your places, it's time to roll the bones. Okay.
Okie dokie. Would we like to maybe roll 1d6 each and then combine them?
Yeah, I like that.
Cool.
I got a 1.
And I got a 6. Duality.
So let's see. That could could be tower or that could be grotto.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My
Could be a tower grotto.
Yeah, a grotto. I know what a grotto is, but I feel like I don't have as strong of a picture of what a grotto exactly is in my mind as a tower. I guess it's like kind of a cave thing, right? Like,
Yeah, it's like a cave, like something underground that has like plant life, water, like
mhm.
trees, stuff like that.
I mean, that could be interesting because we know that you are sort of covered in natural materials. So I feel like your skeleton would I feel here's what it seems like to me, and this is not like choosing one or the other, but I feel like your skeleton seems like they might or it might be from the grotto, and my skeleton feels like it might live in the tower, and maybe like one or the other like is in the other one's lair for some reason. Um
Yeah.
Somehow we arrived in the same place.
We could roll and like whoever gets the highest that decides where we're actually meeting. So like if I roll highest, then that means we're in the grotto, and if you roll highest, then we're at the tower.
Sure. Works for me.
I'm not going to roll that die because it rolled a 1 for me, and it should be ashamed.
It would be really
I rolled a
difficult
6.
for you. I rolled a 1. That's so funny. Okay, so we're in the grotto. Very good.
Yes.
I like that. I think that's good. And I think based on the sort of idea I have of my skeleton, I feel like they're a bit of a in a phase of their life where they're going a wandering, so I think it makes sense for them to be not at home, so to speak.
So were they looking for something specific in this grotto? Or were they like, just randomly going?
What if this grotto has like a treasure or a relic of some kind in it? Maybe because I feel like my skeleton is a bit of a spiritual creature. Like she has like a religious quest or something. Maybe like was created by some one to carry out this sort of holy quest, and maybe she's looking for something that is in this grotto for said purposes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And
And
what are you doing here?
maybe I'm a guardian.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Yeah. That's really good. That's really good.
Welcome in, Izzy. We're almost to the boning of our bones. We're getting there.
We are getting closer. Indeed.
Looking for Holy Quest. Relic for Holy Quest. Do we want to decide now what the relic is? I could pull. You could pull from your deck, and I could pull from mine, and I can decide what the relic is.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Has this been shuffled? Oh, I have not used my tarot in a long time. I need to use it more.
I'm sure that mine isn't, but I also think that it's not in any particular order.
I mean, if you don't remember it, like it not being shuffled is sort of a randomness on its own.
Indeed. Well, it's like, I think I probably did last time I used it, which was 10 years ago or something, so I'm pulling from the ancient decks, but...
The olden times.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm starting to get sort of locked in on shuffling.
Oh
no, I need to stop.
Danger.
Okay, I got the Chariot.
Okay. And I got a card called Spirit Lancer, which sounds very cool. And it has a lovely, like, fairy who's sort of glowing in this ethereal white light on it. Now I know what a chariot is. I don't know what the Chariot Tarot card indicates.
Let's see if I can find the booklet for this specific tarot.
A Spirit Dancer, not Spirit Lancer. We choose what we want to see. I'm gonna say it says Spirit Lancer, because I think that sounds cool as fuck. It sounds like a, some sort of... I mean, I guess I'm thinking about it a little bit literally, like a lance or like a holy spear or something. I don't know.
Okay, I found it. Let's see. The Chariot attributes willpower, success, assurance, action, momentum, reverse attributes,
Hmm.
lack of direction, lack of momentum, ego. It was in it's it was not in reverse, so don't worry about that.
Mhm.
The chariot takes what the lovers teach about self-knowledge and understanding and forges it into a tool of courageous success. The chariot charges forward with determination. While challenges and roadblocks are inevitable, you will in the end prevail. The chariot's
Hmm.
analog in anime, because this is anime scene one, is the big brother.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, and you're going with your reading of it, which was the Lance part, right?
I think so, yeah. Um
Mhm.
what if it's like a scepter of some kind that like infers, because I'm thinking about the sort of chariots like focus on sort of direction and purpose and like courage, and I'm thinking maybe this scepter, if like it is said, at least it might not necessarily be literally this, but is said to like imbue you with um some sort of leadership power, whether that's symbolic or magical, like something like that.
Okay, hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you said there was like a sort of fairy like creature
Mm-hmm.
on the card, right?
Yeah.
What if this is like the scepter of Oberon,
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like that.
and like it will give the wielder like a a seat within the like the summer court, like it gives you the
Oh, yeah.
the
Like
sort
it
of
sort of
the
grants you a lordship or something in the summer
mhm.
court or something like that.
Yeah, like maybe Oberon, because Oberon's like the consort of Titania. Maybe Oberon is not a person but a title. So that's like the
Mm.
title of
Mm-hmm.
the consort of Titania is Oberon.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. And I like the implication that I sort of, because if we're going that with that, which I'm totally into, it's funny because my skeleton is not here to become a Fey Lord. They're here to get the scepter for somebody else, but I don't know what the implications of that are. Like, is it the first person who picks it up? Is it the first person who uses it? Is it. What is it? I don't know. Maybe it's not even
Hmm.
an item. Maybe people think it's an item, but it's actually like a thing that you have to do here that's not physical.
Mm-hmm.
Like having sex in the grotto with the guardian. I don't know.
Yeah. And as skeletons, we probably don't even care.
Probably
We're
not.
just like,
Yeah, it's like I'm so far past that now because I'm dead. Like, I can't accept a position on your Fey Council. What are we doing?
mhm.
But, who knows what might happen.
And now I think we need to each pick something that catches our eye about the other.
Hmm. I must say we are both extremely eye-catching just in general. Sort
Yeah,
of
in very
on
different ways.
on each extreme of the spectrum. Um
Hmm.
I feel like for my character looking at yours, I feel like they would be very um curious and sort of impressed by you having sort of transcended the limitations of your physical form by sort of like uh making your rib cage into this, like, you can sort of move autonomously with it. You aren't just sort of rolling around on the floor, like you have this way of moving yourself and uh having mastered that control over yourself that they're like, oh, damn, that's very cool.
And I think for my skeleton, who knows how long they've been in this grotto, been a guardian for this power of Oberon. And like, I would imagine it's like when, like a farmer and you see a princess for the first time, you just see this like person that's just like so like ordained with all this stuff and like looks important. They're just sort of mesmerized by, you know, this shiny thing that has entered their very dull and like murky life.
Mm-hmm. Shiny. Shininess. Yeah, I love that.
And you said like the eyes sort of glow a little bit, like the eye sockets have like a faint glow to them.
Yeah, I think it's like mostly sort of a dark void, but at like the very, very back, like further back than a skull goes, there's like a little bit of light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this creature would like the sort of the twinkle in the void.
Cool. Yeah. How world building question.
Mm-hmm.
How large are you?
I'll roll. Well, I would say minimum like the human torso sized rib
Mm.
cage, but maybe it's bigger. Okay, so I'm using like fantasy sized creature.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I'm like sort of like, bigger than human, like, like orc or like Goliath sized
Okay.
ribs.
Cool. All right.
Like definitely bigger than a person, but it's not like a horse.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, I was just curious because I don't know. I was just
Mm-hmm.
forming my mind picture, so I wanted to know. But that sounds good. Is there anything else for this section, or do we want to move to the next?
Well, now we need to roll the bones
Oh yes,
for.
that's right. We picked a card, so I was
Yeah.
like, oh, we've done it, but actually that was for something completely different. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So if you want, we can each roll a d6.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What did you get?
I got a 4, so sort of middling that.
I got a 1. And
Oh.
for me, the way that one felt immediately to me when I rolled it was it's not going well. My quest is not going well. I don't know why, but I feel like my skeleton is in a bad place when she arrives here. I don't know why though.
So, and you think though that emotion is going into this first encounter?
I think it's like for me it feels like that's how she arrives here and
Mm-hmm.
then potentially like meeting your character has the potential to like draw her out of it, but I think like she finds the grotto, she walks in and she's like, "Oh my god. Can't believe I'm in this wet, dirty grotto." But then like across the room, she's like, "Oh, who's that? Handsome friend." Um
Yeah, my thing's probably like skittering on the wall.
yeah, I think there's like an initial impression of like, oh my god, what is that? Like I didn't sign up for there to be a skittering guardian in here. Um but then I think like perhaps I feel like then the eye catching part sort of takes place where it's clear that you're not like a creature, you are a sentient guardian. I think
Mm-hmm.
that like fascinates her, like sort of like, oh, what is this? I want to know more about this?
Yeah, I think for mine, I want to why I'm going to refer to the skeletons because we haven't given the names yet. Is I'm going to
Mm,
refer to yours as the quester
mm,
because you're on a quest and
hmm.
I'm guardian. I
Yeah.
think that's a good way to.
Yeah.
But I think for guardian, there because I did roll a 4, so it's like I wouldn't say it's bad, but they're kind of just like you know they're on work duty right now. They've been tasked with
Mm-hmm.
this you know, a mortal task of protecting this power, and they're just like, here's another person, but it's like, oh, that's a pretty person,
Mm-hmm.
like the sort of gunk ooze that sort of sticks to their bones, bubbles in excitement a little bit,
Mm, yeah.
almost like like when a cat like sees something new, they're like kind of excited, but they're also like a little agitated.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with this. Like I want to go look at that, but I'm also mildly like perturbed by it. Um
Hmm.
yeah, I like that. I feel like the quester sort of just lingers in sort of the doorway, not doorway because it's cave, but the cave mouth just sort of lingers there and watches because I'm spooky as well, so I assume that they don't really have much um, charisma, and so I feel like they just sort of like stand in the cave mouth and like watch you moving along the walls for a while, curiously, sort of waiting to see what might happen.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Guardian like would eventually like jump down from the wall, like land on. I'm imagining like moss
Mm-hmm.
on the ground, and like sort of standing up on its like back ribs with its like two front ribs sort of wiggling. Because I don't think this thing can communicate at least in a speaking way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
At least not yet. Maybe they can at some point, but they're like almost like presenting themselves. Like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm scary. Look at me."
Yeah. Um, I feel like the quester probably seeing this just continues to be fascinated and probably walks in. I am imagining in my mind like a scene of like the quester walking into the grotto and like the guardian is sort of standing there, um and my character would probably like start trying to like sort of, you know, that thing that characters do sometimes in shows where you like circle the other person but you're sort of like looking over your shoulder at them as you're circling them, sort of like almost appraising them a little bit.
Hmm.
I feel like that is probably what they're doing.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe a little bit on edge because I think at first they're not sure if, as a guardian, you are hostile in some way to their quest or not. Um, they're just sort of like but I do think my character has language, um, probably metaphysically somehow,
Hmm.
like a obviously no, um, no physical voice, but perhaps like a voice in your mind or something.
Hmm.
Um, and probably asks if you are the guardian I was told to expect.
Hmm. I'll roll to see if they can communicate, like, because I feel like, especially if your character is the one reaching out to them, that maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're able to, like, engage that way.
Mm-hmm.
we'll say a 3 and up. That is enough. This
Okay.
creature to be able to talk.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1.
Okay. Cool.
So I'd say like you're able to like touch their like spirit or whatever, like the ghost of a mind that used to be there, but
Mhm.
it's more like monstrous than like your sentience. Like I can there's sentience there. It's just like it almost like a person that's been lost at sea for so long that
Mm.
they're just not they're
Mhm.
not used to using that part of themselves anymore.
Yeah. Do you communicate in like cuz you can't really communicate in, words as such, but
Hmm.
I feel like what is the way that you sort of like present your intentions then?
I think they would like coil up onto their tail, so like their rib cage and the skull is sort of like up in the air, and they sort
Mhm.
of like flare out their ribs. And you can
Mm.
see that the ribs are like sharpened, where they're not sort of rounded anymore, where they're used to like latch onto the walls and use as weapons. And you can see the black gunk that coats them actually moves as well, almost like tendrils coming out,
Okay.
and they sort of present themselves almost like they are you know, like the royalty.
Mhm. Yeah, I think if there is like a rock or something nearby, probably the quester like sits on it sort of like directly across from you with that intense sort of look in the back of their eyes, and obviously doesn't have skin or muscles to speak of, but I feel like you would
Mm.
hear a little bit of amusement in her voice. Just like, not at all what I thought you would be. A majestic creature.
I think it would nod.
Hmm.
Like it can understand what you're saying, but it doesn't necessarily have the same capability. But it's like, yes, I am majestic.
Yeah. Yeah, we can tell.
I think this is a good point to switch over to the next, the
Yeah,
flirty archaeology.
please do it. I think you read the last one, if you'd like me to read.
Mm-hmm. You go for it.
A flirty archaeology. It's time for these skeletons to come out of the closet. Whether you want this to be the start of something bigger or are just looking for a tryst, it's time to get to know each other. Plus, even if this encounter is a stolen moment between strangers, it's always good to be in touch with yourself. How the game works. Each player takes turns answering questions and trying their best to remember facts about themselves, either from when they were alive or as a member of the undead. Steps. Take turns picking questions from the list below to either ask the other player or to answer yourself. Ideally, you should both pick different questions, but if a question really speaks to you, it's okay if you both answer it. Once you've answered at least two questions each, you can choose to end the game or keep answering questions until you run out. Once you're ready to end the game, roll the bones. And we've got questions on the other side of the page. I can read them now, or we can read them as we ask them.
I think it's fine to read them as we ask them.
Okay, sounds good.
Do you want to roll off to see who asked the first question?
Yeah, let's do it. I got a 6.
I got a 4.
Okay. I think it kind of makes sense because as the person with words, I feel like the quester sort of asking the first question makes a little bit of sense. What question would she ask? the guardian. Okay. I want to ask, I think number 5. And I'm not exactly sure how she would word it, but I'll read the question and then we can sort of figure it out. It took you some time to get used to becoming a member of the undead. What's the first time after resurrection where you thought, even though I'm dead, I could still get it?
That is an interesting question.
Because I think, like, the quester would ask that because they're curious about sort of how you came to be the way that you are, and, like, you clearly know that you're, like, a magnificent creature, and so I think that they're interested in sort of, like, you know, the combination of that sort of thing. Like, you know, you clearly know that even though you are this undead sort of amalgam, you know that you got it going on. So, like, what is about that?
There's a... So I think the way that Guardian would answer this question is sort of, because they can't speak, but I think they can show sort of glimpses of their life. And so it's almost like if a quester is sort of plunging into their existence of how they would respond. So I think it's like you'll get sort of like a foggy painting of parts of this creature's existence. The first being like, you'd think back to when they were human, but it's like really faded and like grayed out to where you see like a magnificent sort of courtroom with like gold pillars and like lush pillows with like the faint memory of like beautiful people like doing it. And then it sort of fades away to that into this grotto where they're this creature now, and there's still the shimmer of that like gold to it, like the sort of light being reflected from this gold chamber that they used to be a part of. And you can see other people, like travelers, other people like they're coming here to get this power, and that there's something about their bond to this power that makes them alluring still.
Sorry, I'm taking notes. That's really cool.
Like a picture of a, you know, like a holy knight or something like that coming in to slay this beast, and like pictures of them fighting, but then that fighting turns into not fighting, and black gunky tentacles coming out and stuff.
Yeah. Very cool. It sounds sort of like, I mean, because I think that the way that the quester would sort of interpret that is like that, you know, at one point in your past life, you were like of this fake court, and like, you know, the power that surrounded you there and the power sort of inherent in who you were back then probably carried over into, like, you know, enabling you to still have this like sentience and desire, and, you know, you still have a little bit of that fey charm from before, is what it sounds like. And I think that that is very fascinating to them.
I think maybe this would be a good time where they would like, they'd look around this grotto and not see any bones of things coming in here to those other skeletons. So maybe that there's not been any actual mortal combat that's happened here.
I did that. I definitely think that, like, at this point, the quester is like, okay, so I don't think this is a guardian who, you know, like, I have to defeat in sort of the more traditional way.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely from the images that they're getting in their mind from your character, I think would start to have some of those, like, tantalizing, sort of curious thoughts about, you know, if you were like this at one time, like, in your current life, do you still do you still fuck? Even
Mm-hmm.
now? Um I think there's like a tantalizing sort of curiosity at this point about, like, your current position.
The flesh is weak, but the will remains.
Yeah. Ain't that just the way? Um
Mm-hmm.
awesome. I I'm gonna go to the bathroom super fast before we move on to the next question, if that's all right.
Yeah,
Um,
we can take a short BRB. I can go get me some ice cream to help with this eat.
yeah, totally. I will be only just a couple of minutes, so I'll put you on the BRB screen and be right
Yeah,
back.
same. We'll be
Okay,
right back,
see
Chang.
you
Then we
guys
can get
soon.
more deep into it.
Yeah.
It's a furnace in here.
Oh my gosh, it sounds so warm. When we said we were gonna play a hot game, this is not what we meant.
You know it's bad when the skeletons are sweating.
Yeah, it's. How
Or
are they even
would it be
doing that?
sweating? Would it be like milking? Because it's like marrow.
Ooh. I mean, that's sort of on theme, I guess. So sure. Remember to milk your skeletons, everybody.
Exactly. You got to dry them bones out.
Hmm.
This ice cream is really good though.
What flavor do you have?
It is basic vanilla.
Nice. I love a classic.
It's just the easiest to make if you're doing like homemade.
Oh, right, you make the homemade ice cream. I remember you were telling me about that. That sounds so
Yeah, and it's not
good.
like a proper ice cream maker. It's more of like a churner.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds really nice to have on a hot day.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I'm gonna roll for mine. Obviously, I'm if
Hmm.
I'll skip 5 if I get 5.
Okay,
So
good.
I got 6. One side effect of your immortal form is that you can now perform a special party trick. You've done it more than once to try and impress someone. What's the trick, and did it actually impress them?
Oh my gosh. This is the one question I was like, if I ask this question, I'm not gonna know what what to say. Um, but I will endeavor to try. Special party trick. I feel like it's gotta be. I feel like it's gotta be some kind of thaumaturgy situation
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, and I don't know how it works, and I don't think that the quester knows how it works either. I think it's just something that they have been able to do since they were sort of created to be this, um the vessel for this quest. I think that in order to be, well, yeah, I think in order to sort of impress the people that, like, they needed to come across in their quest to try to either persuade or intimidate people into sort of, you know, giving them the things that they wanted or tell them the things that they needed to know. I think that they were imbued with like the power to sort of have this like I feel like the headdress kind of part of the gold that's embedded in their skull sort of begins to shine. I almost imagine, because I'm imagining that the headdress is like, you know, sort of not like spikes, but sort of spikes, like a little a fan almost that comes out the back of the skull, sort of behind, like a hairpiece, and I feel like
Hmm.
it glows almost like it's like the rays of the sun or something like that. And the dots in the back of their eyes, those pinpricks of light, sort of flare up into these like magnificent sort of like flash, like the flash of like a ray of sun coming out of the eyes. They're imbued with light in this way, and I feel like the grotto has not seen this amount of light in a long time, if ever. Um, so I feel like if the guardian asked about this, the quester would probably like stand up from where she's been sitting and sort of like uh try to put on a little bit of a show. I don't, like I said, I don't think that she's very charismatic, so I don't think that it maybe comes across, I think it maybe comes across a little cheesy, but I think she like walks to sort of the center of the room, back turned to the guardian, and then like, because I kind of imagine that she's wearing like a cloak of some kind, like a sort of brocadey cloak, and like tries to do the
Hmm.
thing where you like whip around and the cloak like whips around, and like the sun sort of flashes out of the eyes and out of the sun crown on her head, and just sort of like tries to do a little dazzling display of this little power. Um, whether or not whether or not it actually looks cool is totally up to, maybe that's up to the dice. But yeah.
And I think how Quester got this question was more like just a, you know, like a feeling of curiosity, not like an actual question, but
Mm-hmm.
like almost like, how are you going to persuade me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I feel like because when you were talking about like your skeleton has not seen someone so bedazzling, at least not in a long time, maybe not since they were alive. Like, I feel like I don't know if the quester senses that sort of entrancement, but I feel like they would try to play it up, like, especially because the Guardian sort of introduced itself by, you know, putting on this little display of its own. I feel like the quester is now trying to put on her own display, sort of like, look at this magnificence, if you,
Hmm.
you know, if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'd say it seems like the Guardian does not like all the light. At least that's what the dice told me.
Mm-hmm. The I feel like the quester just sort of like lets it fade and does a little bow, I think, a courteous bow, and says, "My apologies. I should have considered that might be a bit painful."
I think like when the light was going on, the black ooze that coats it, like it, or especially around its like spine and stuff, I feel like that's where a lot of the gunk is.
Mm.
is like receded as much as it could, like into the cracks of the bones, and now that the light is gone, it's starting to go back out to it's more like sort of bubbling, like little tendrils coming up.
Hmm.
And
I
it
think
seems like it's
there's.
that was its way of communicating that it accepts the apology.
I think there's like I have this image in my mind of almost like there's a memory of doing this when the quester was human, um of like being some sort of person who takes care of people, whether that is like a priest or a parent or something, or like, maybe just someone who like previously was a person who took care of people. I feel like I could see them sort of kneeling down in front of the guardian and like reaching out a hand to sort of like almost a sense or muscle memory of like, if you accidentally hurt someone, you kind of reach out to them to be like, oh, are you okay? I feel like that sort of thing happens, just by reflex.
Mm-hmm.
Probably at the like tendrils that had receded. Um, but yeah, there's a sense of concern. Like, are you? Did that hurt you?
I think the little black tendrils would sort of like latch onto the hand, almost like it's trying to like coat it.
Mm. Yeah, there
I think
definitely would
that
not
would be a good
be.
time to ask the next question.
Yeah, I think there would not be any resistance there for sure. I'll also roll for my next question, I think. Let's see. That's a 2. An evil force reassembled your body and forced you from the grave. This probably wasn't what you were supposed to be paying attention to, but what about them got your motor going? Um,
That's an interesting question.
yeah, it is. That makes us answer some things about this world.
Hmm. I'm just writing this down to keep track of the stuff as we go.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when you copy text from a PDF, it just immediately breaks.
Oh, it's awful, yeah.
Mm. Let's see. It would make sense. This actually kind of makes sense for my character that
Mm.
they were reassembled because of just how
Mm-hmm.
strange their construction is.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm. So we've already decided that this is a hidden place that is holding the power of Oberon, the title of the consort of Titania, and I have been protecting it, guarding it. Now I guess Titania is not seen as an evil force, so that makes me think that maybe the Queen of Air and Darkness is what created the Guardian.
Ooh.
So maybe I'm not there to like see who is worthy of this power anymore. I'm actually trying to keep people from the power so that there cannot be, so Titania cannot have another consort.
Okay, okay. I like that.
So what would I find attractive? What got me excited from seeing the Queen of Air and Darkness? Or maybe not her, but maybe like something underneath her that
Mm-hmm.
works for her.
Yeah.
So I imagine she's a busy woman being
Yeah.
ruling over air and darkness.
That's a lot to be getting
Hmm.
on with.
So probably some sort of like necromancer, bone shaper.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think of any specific fairy type creatures that do that.
Like a
I'm
hag,
gonna
maybe,
say
or something?
I'm gonna say vampire because
Ooh,
I
nice.
personally like vampire.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
So maybe I'm gonna say that Quester gets more images and they can see this vampiric creature or something that just looks like a vampire, like tall and lithe with but the focus is on as they're being raised up into this odd configuration, like the skull as it connects to the rib cage, the eye sockets are staring at these like sharp fangs that are glinting in the moonlight.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see like the later on as they're like stuck in this tomb or this grotto that they're like filing their ribs into points to be more like the fangs that they saw.
Cool. I am thinking about how I would respond to that. Ooh, okay. So what I did, because I was like, I don't know what she would think about that. I pulled a card from my deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I drew a card of a glowing sword. And it is, the card is called He of the Fiery Sword. And so I'm wondering, like, if the quester maybe has, like, a ceremonial sword. Because, like, they have this cloak, they have this crown. I feel like if they're on some sort of, like, weird diplomatic / religious mission, they might have probably not a blade that they use. I don't think that they really do combat necessarily, but I feel like just, like, a sort of symbolic piece. Maybe it is a maybe not a sword, but maybe a dagger, like that has the symbol or rune or sigil of whoever bestowed it upon them, that sort of maybe symbolizes that, like, they're part of this order or organization, that, like, you know, they can show this sort of symbolic dagger to people, and people will be like, oh, you're part of the, like, you have been sent by the group. And I think that they would get out, they would sort of, like, their eyes would glow a little bit, not like the flash from before, but just a spark of, like, ooh, I think I have something you might like. And they draw the sort of golden gem encrusted dagger from wherever they keep it, probably just on the hip somewhere, and show it to you. I have a piece myself. It's yours if you want it. After this, I suspect I won't have much need of it anymore.
I think the head would like slightly bow while still keeping socket to socket contact.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tail would curl around and like grab at it. And then like the ooze would travel down to the tip of the tail and almost like meld the dagger to the end of the tail.
Ooh, very cool. I like that a lot. Suits you better than I think it ever suited me.
I think they would use the tail, but the blade of the dagger almost like caress the bone of like the guardian's cheek, or not the guardian, but the quester's cheek.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool. I like that.
Okay. Do I want to pick a question or do I want to roll again? I'll roll. Well, I'll do like a roll of D3.
Yeah.
I actually have a D3
Oh, you do?
somewhere. I just don't. Yeah, I just don't know where I put those funky dice.
I've seen pictures of them, but I've never used one. I'm very curious.
I used them a little bit when I played Dungeon Crawl Classics a while ago, but after that, there's not many TTRPGs that use those dice.
Yeah.
Wait, I think there should be, but because like even though those Zachi or Zochi dice, they are pretty tied to Dungeon Crawl Classics. They're not actually like they're not owned by Dungeon Crawl Classics because they essentially just buy them from the company and then like put them in their own packaging with the Dungeon Crawl Classics logos and stuff. So I wanted to make something that uses those at some point. But I rolled a 2, which that would mean I got 3. So out of all the hobbies and activities that make up your afterlife, what is the thing you do when you want to feel hot? I think this question would come out sort of like more, it's almost like their mind is being awakened more now that they're starting to use it. So it's like more clear pictures, more like almost closer to there being words forming, where it's like showing like just different activities, like sort of like lounging on a plush sofa, or standing under the waterfall that's nearby and it's sort of cascading down the bones, stuff like that is a way to frame this question.
Yeah. I think that is like a grotto like has sort of this sort of watery center, I feel like a lake or a pond, or a little cove from the sea or something. And so I imagine that in response to the sort of images that the Guardian has conjured, the quester turns and probably walks into like further into the water so that the water is almost up to their sort of torso or waist, like wherever. I imagine they wouldn't be fully swimming, but they're sort of deep in, and I feel like they probably trail some fingers through the water so that the little water trails sort of fan out and probably lift some droplets of the water and just almost like they are bathing themselves, like roll some of the water across the metal, like across the gold that is embedded in the bone, and just sort of watch the drops like roll down. And they say, I don't know why. Maybe it is a relic from a time past, but I find that I quite like being in the water. The way it feels, it's almost like what I imagine it would be to have silk against your skin. And I think, like, looks back at the Guardian, sort of talking about the sensation of that.
I think the Guardian, it would, like, you could see almost like its bones sort of ripple as it starts like walking towards the water, and almost like hesitant, like it hasn't touched water and since before it can even remember, when like it lost its memory. It's been so long, it finally like slinks under, almost like a snake entering the water, and starts sort of slithering closer to the quester. And you see like the black gunk, it doesn't disperse, but like you can see the water sort of darkening around it. But because it's like a running stream, it sort of gets pulled away, like it's almost cleansing itself for what is to come.
Yeah. I feel like I could see this transitioning into the next section.
Mm-hmm. Do we need to roll
If
the
we want to roll the
bones?
bones here. Okay,
I rolled a 1 again.
I will roll a dice, and I also kind of want to draw a card just to see
Yeah,
if
I'll do that too.
if it will do
Where
anything.
did I put my cards? I swear, the box for my tarot deck, it is a tight fit.
Oh yeah. I feel like they tend to be that way.
I haven't loosened it up enough.
Yeah, gotta get that practice in.
You got to really work at it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, you do. So I rolled a 5, and the card that I drew is, well, I can only it's very abstract. I can only describe, and I apologize for being vulgar, but you know what you signed up for. It looks just like a vulva with a little clitoris star above it. I can't. I'll I'll put a picture of it in the VOD, but it's really not explicit and doesn't look like that at all. But I'm thinking about skeletons boning, and I'm looking at this picture, and I'm like, that's all I can see. But what the card is called is the Singer of Healing, which is very romantic.
Well, I mean, something will be singing now that it's easily to find the clip.
Something will be singing, and I can't. Anyway, but I feel like it seems appropriate because this almost seems like a little bit of a. I don't know. It seems like a little bit of a healing moment. I don't know. It's like the cleansing of the waters is kind of what that makes me think of.
So I rolled a 1, and the card I got was the Knight of Cups.
Okay, what is the Knight of Cups?
Let me find Cups. Okay. Knight of Cups is creativity, romance, imagination.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually pretty fitting.
That is.
So I think, because I rolled a 1, so I'm going to
Mhm.
interpret that as not necessarily negative, but so like the quester is sort of, is representing sort of cleansing, nurturing, light, and the guardians representing darkness, like monstrosity. So I think actually that there's like the water like continues to like darken as it's swimming in it, and the like ooze is mixing with the water, almost like it's becoming a dark night where the like stars aren't out, and the quester is the only like source of light, and it's almost like a shark moving towards its prey.
Ooh, yeah.
Like there is the attraction, but there's like a hunger to it, not necessarily like healing comfort.
Yeah, totally. Interesting contrast. Perfect for the next section, methinks.
Yes, which is, let me get this here. We have common burial ground. Boning a stranger can be improved if you both take a second to work out what you're into. Unfortunately, as ancient members of the undead, you only have some hazy ideas what to work with. Your brain has long since withered into nothing, but brains are overrated, and whether by magic or will, you're still got preferences, needs, and temptations. And while you can't always get what you want, you can have a sexual encounter with another unholy creature. How the game works: each player rolls dice and consults the sex wants table to get in touch with their sexual desires, and then discuss with each other. Step 1: each player rolls a 6-sided dice 3 times to see what their vibe, aura, and energy will be on the sex wants table. The result you get is a summary of what you're hoping to experience in this encounter. You should share your results with the other player. 2: discuss with the other player what you both want and see what kind of similarities and differences there are. Here are some questions that help along if need be. What are you hoping to get out of this experience? How are you feeling? What's your level of experience with this kind of sex? What is the goal for both of us to get pleasure from this, or is it just one of us? Is pleasure a goal? 3, why are you interested in this kind of sex? And then 4, when you both feel happy with your discussion, roll the bones.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna roll some dice.
My favorite part, to see how the dice will betray me.
I'm like, the dice always tell a story no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm. So we have vibe.
I feel like the dice are calling me out right now, Jesus.
Oh no.
Stop it! Don't look at me. Okay, excited to know what you got.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Okay.
Do you want to go first?
I can go first. So I feel like the dice really knew my skeleton, and I feel called out. And what the dice have told me is that the quester is looking for something restrained, okay, grounded, and slow.
That is really interesting.
Tell me about
got
yours.
restrained, demonic, and textbook.
Whoa! Okay. Demonic. Wow. And textbook? Wait. Okay. Alright. So, it's interesting that we both got restrained. For sure. Because what does that mean? I mean, it's very fitting that yours had a demonic aura, because I feel like the sort of darkening of the waters and the like almost hunting sensation that you described before fits that very well. I don't know what to think about textbook.
What if? So the restrained part could be because we both have a like mission or job we're
Yeah.
trying to uphold. Maybe like in the way that this power is granted, we're both holding back from it, like trying to not make it a test of getting the power. Like we're trying to sort of be more ourselves versus the jobs that we have laid upon us.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that, well, okay. What I'm thinking about is using the almost like, because both of the vibes are restrained, but I want to sort of like move through that a little bit and say that like the aura of the quester initially comes from a grounded position, maybe like a slow energy, but I feel like when met with the demonic aura from the guardian, I feel like that restraint would start to break down a little bit, and it would be like the restraint is sort of the initial position where the quester is like unsure about, because they do have this mission that they're supposed to be doing, and also like wants to make sure that, because since your character can't communicate with words, I feel like there's a little bit of caution from the quester of like, you know, wanting to make sure that the Guardian, like, wants this, but then maybe, like, when met with a similar sort of energy, starts to, like, let go, like, let her guard down a little bit, kind of a thing,
Hmm.
is kind of, like, where my mind is going.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's sort of in the opposite, or maybe not opposite, but the other side of that, the guardian is also holding back because they can't necessarily communicate either, and is wanting to show as much as they can by like their touch and their energy as they
Mm-hmm.
can until they sort of find the common ground, and
Mm-hmm.
then the more feral
Yeah.
side comes out.
Yeah, it almost seems like a thing where both parties are kind of, you know, that initial hesitancy, like, of wanting to make sure that they're both, like, on the same page, but then once they realize that they are, they're like, okay, like, yes, this is what
Hmm.
I want. This is good. And then I feel like it starts to transition into something more at that point. um
Yeah, and I think from like the energy side, like textbook, that would make me think that like the guardian is this is the first time they've ever been
mm,
with another skeleton, so they're just doing things that they're used to with more fleshy people.
mhm. Yeah.
So it's a lot of tentacle stuff.
I didn't want to be the one to say it, but I was like, you mentioned the tentacles in the water, and I was like, oh, so that's how you have skeleton sex. I get it. Um, but yeah, and I think that makes sense, and I think that it's interesting if, like, do you think that the guardian sort of, like, continues in that way, or do you feel like once they sort of ease into the situation that they feel a little bit more freedom, or do you think that's kind of the place where they end up?
I feel like they're used to more like supple skin and stuff like that, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be like a lot of grinding and scraping.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think because it is textbook, that while that would make me think that they rely a lot on previous knowledge, but I think
Mm-hmm.
eventually after a while, and I would expect like skeletons fucking, they're not necessarily beholden to the weakness of flesh, so they can kind of just
Right.
go
Yeah.
however long they want. So I
Mm-hmm.
think eventually they would pick up on
Yeah.
the like, oh, this is how I do this. This is where I touch stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I put my tentacle.
Yeah. And I think probably in the same way, because the energy that I got was slow. And so I feel like it's almost the same way in that, like, my skeleton has not had sex before, and honestly, not even super sure whether they had sex before they were a skeleton. And so I feel like it's a combination almost of the slow and the textbook being like, we're both very unsure how, or like, not unsure, but like, we're both sort of just doing at first what we think is supposed to probably happen in this situation. And then it can
Hmm.
it can evolve from there. To more if they want to do that. Um, but yeah, I think that, like, I mean, in terms of, because I'm like looking at some of these questions, that it is suggesting. And I'm thinking about the last question in number 2, where it says, is the goal for both of us to get pleasure or just one? Is pleasure a goal? And I feel like for the quester, this is almost a moment of freedom from like their quest and from everything else that, you know, they were created to do. This is like this is just for me. Like this is something that is exciting and sacred to me, and like I am in this moment not thinking about the mission or the quest. Like maybe I was at the start, but now I'm not. Yeah. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think for the Guardian, I'm not sure they get pleasure the same way, you know. Obviously, they don't get the same way a mortal living person would, but I don't think they don't derive pleasure from being pleasured. They're more it's more of like a duty to them.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So I think that leans into the textbook thing. This is almost, you know, it's their mission in you know, unlife.
Mm-hmm.
It's just who they are. That they don't think about pleasure that way.
Yeah. Cool. Shall we roll the bones? Roll some bones?
Yes, I think it's a good place on that.
Okay.
Ooh, I rolled a 5, and I also pull a card for this because I like
Yeah,
using the cards.
I have also done it.
You know, I'm not sure if it's the fire that's burning down on the area that I'm living right now, or if it's the hot skeleton sex, but I am sweating fierce.
Oh
Really hard to
boy.
say right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sorry, it's so hot. Okay, I'm
Just
gonna
bone
pick a
on bone
different card because
action.
I can't read what that says.
I got death.
Whoa, okay. And what do we think that means?
I got truck-kun. Let's see what death means, because death doesn't necessarily.
Yeah,
It's not
one thing I know
necessarily
about
bad.
tarot is that death is not necessarily a bad thing.
Let's see. What number is death? 13. Endings, rebirth, change, transformation, letting go.
Okay, all right. Did you roll a dice as well?
Yeah, and I got 5. So I would say
Okay.
that this is like this seems like a transformation. The
Mm-hmm.
this is leading to something new.
Yeah. I think so I will now reveal my card and my dice, which are also a 5, and the card is called the Singer of Connection. Um so I feel like it's kind of almost the same like vibe where yeah, I feel like this is a sort of transformational moment for both individuals, it sounds like. And also just like the fact that it's called the Singer of Connection and that we got the same number on the dice is like, wow, what kismet.
It's very interesting how that worked out.
Yeah.
If we could we take a quick break? I'm feeling suddenly sick, so I'm gonna go take some medicine real quick.
Oh no,
I'll be
yeah,
right
go
back.
ahead. Hello, I'm taking myself off the BRB screen, but I think we're still BRBing. For a minute. Hello, chat. Hope you're all enjoying skeletons boning. I know I am. Truly, the dice and the cards do tell a story. It's amazing. But yeah, I think I still BRB, but while that is happening, I will just go ahead and vamp by plugging the game in case you like what you're hearing and you want to make 2 skeletons bone as well. You can do so by visiting the following website. It's just itch.io. This game again is Toot on My Balls Skeleton, aka TOMBS by Swamp Hen, and it's very delightful. So I would highly recommend it if you are interested in such things. And go support the creator and check out their stuff if you like. I'm just looking to see if they have any other games, because I have not encountered this author before. I see that they have another one called Demonic Postal Service, which sounds fun. A co-op journaling game about sending letters via demonic mail. Does sound fun. The only amenity in this endless dungeon is a demonic postal service. That's fun. I wish that I had a demonic postal service just for me, just in general. I mean, we do have a postal service, but people are always threatening to take it away, and if we had a demonic one, then I wouldn't have to be worried, because then I would know that there's a backup, you know? Oh, and they've also made a couple of other small jam games. And a couple of video games. Little browser games that you can play on itch. Thanks for redeeming Dark Mode, Balltuber. Dark Mode is not too different from I think I've had like a color filter on during this stream that is similar to Dark Mode. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was supposed to do it with an exclamation point, but I hit send before it could take effect. I was thinking that would maybe untoggle. I mean, you guys know my StreamerBot settings are a little bit fucked up, but I'm not always dark and shiny.
I am back.
Hello, I've just been vamping. Oh my god. Fuck me, I cannot do Twitch chat commands today. Let me just get rid of all that. Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, I was just taking a look at the itch page of the author and seeing what else they have.
But yeah, I think I am good to keep going. I definitely think I'm getting like a little bit of heat exhaustion, but that's fine.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, do let me know if you need to take a pause or anything, but if you're good, I'm good.
Yeah, let's continue. I think we were just about getting onto the setting bone diaries. Diaries?
I can read this. Setting bone diary. Not diaries. Boundaries. Boundaries, there we go. Even the undead have limits. What if someone is only held together by a mark made in blood, and things get a little too wet and wild? Talk with your partner and work out what, if any, limits you need to set in stone to make this the best time it can be. How the game works. Each player takes turns answering a set of questions about their boundaries and discussing them. Once you've worked through the list, have a frank discussion about how this affects your plans from Common Burial Ground, then roll the bones. Once you've answered the questions on the next page and reached a happy, safe spot in your discussion, it's time to roll the bones. And I'll go ahead and read the author's note because it's relevant. It says, in a lot of ways, this is an in-universe version of the safety tools discussion you had earlier. Because this is a role-playing game, your skeleton might have a very different idea of what safety looks like. And then we have the questions, which we can read as we take turns answering them. Which I guess I can go ahead and read the first question. We can work through it. Number 1, are any body parts off limits? Osteoporosis or regular wear and tear can work nightmares on old bones.
I think for the Guardian, their head is off limits because it's not... it's not like their actual skull. It's
Mm.
like it was something that was placed on them as part of like this ritual that made
Okay.
it what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think for the quester, I don't think I have anything for this part. I feel like I could see having something if it had a different structure or something. But as it stands, I feel like the quester does not have any limits in this particular area. So good to know. Number 2, do you have any important preferences you haven't shared yet?
I think for the guardian, it likes its spine being touched.
Okay.
That's where it's like most sensitive.
Yeah. I think that. Well, I guess this. I'm trying to think if this applies to number 2 or number 4. Maybe both, but I think mostly number 2. I feel like perhaps in this situation, the quester might prefer that most of the whatever interactions are going on, that most of that happen to the parts of them that are their actual bone and not the things that have been sort of adorned upon them. I feel like it's a combination probably of sensation and also wanting to not like interfere with the significance of those parts of them. Sort of a combination of those two factors. That makes sense. And number 3, are there any curses or counterspells that might be set off? Not for me. What about you?
I feel like there would need to be something considering how they were made, how it was made. I think the ooze that is a part of them is sort of a curse that tries to like not become part of whatever it's engaging with, but it tries to like envelop it. It wants its little fingies everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. Is this something that the Guardian has, like, control over, or does it just sort of happen?
I think the Guardian, it does not have any control over the ooze. They're sort of like a symbiotic parasitical relationship, but the Guardian itself cannot directly control the ooze.
Okay, cool. Because, yeah,
I'm gonna
I'm
call it the ooze of the
thinking.
night.
Oh, nice. Because I'm thinking, like, what if. Because the quester sort of knew that, like, when they did the demonstration of the sort of sunlight that they can generate, I feel like they saw the ooze sort of recede back a little bit. And so I'm wondering if there's any sort of, like, balance there where it's like, not that the quester would use that power adversarially, because they would know that that was not met well, but as like a it's okay, like I'm okay with the ooze because I know that if it did do anything that I didn't want it to do, like I have this way to deal with it, like, you know, I can just sort of like have a little beam of light or something bop it, you know, if it goes oozing where it oughtn't or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like while the Guardian is like it's lived this existence for so long that it's just sort of dealt with the fact that it has this sort of parasitical entity that, you know, has its own mind, and that it's sort of used to that, but it's also used to, like, you know, if someone has to, you know, spank it, it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, you stuck your hand in the cookie jar, you knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Number 4. Are there any talismans or charms that you don't want removed, either because they'll unbind your soul from your physical form, or just because you like to keep them on? For the quester, I think that they probably would, like, remove the little robe, remove the little dagger scabbard, but the rest of the adornments that are on them, I think, are like bolted or fused somehow into the bones. So I feel like then can't really take that off. But yeah, what about you?
I think we said this was a deer skull, that the antlers there, they have like little talismans and trinkets on them. And I think they would be fine to take off. If I feel like if anything that's what's binding the Guardian to unlife is probably the ooze itself.
Yeah. I don't know that, I mean, because the way that this is shaping up to happen, I feel like is not of a structure where I can see, like, why necessarily the quester would try to remove them. So I feel like I don't think that they necessarily would, but, you know, it's good to know these things. And number 5, are there any acts or ideas you don't want included? This could be as simple as kinds of touching, or as in-depth as no demon summoning rituals.
That is an interesting thought. I think for the Guardian, that's tough.
Yeah.
I think, like, they're bound to this place, forced to guard it, and the power. They're sort of doing this out of a duty, not necessarily because they're really hot and want to get down and boogie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think as well if there's anything that I can
maybe the Guardian doesn't want, like, they don't want this to end with it just being part of their mission. I think that's it.
Oh, okay. Do you, do you want to expand on that a little? Like, do they have a way that they do want it to end? They don't have to.
Or
but,
actually,
like,
now that I'm thinking about it, so we've already said that there's been no one that's died coming here.
Yeah.
And that they have pleasured other people that came here in the past. So maybe it's the reverse. They want this to be the final time.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking now, and sort of was it Ogloff? Is that the name of the common guard? It's almost like that. Like, people have actually only come here so they can get boned by this creepy skeleton monster. And
no,
so
I'm not like that. I'm different.
is wanting this to be the the final time, the final bone, so they can be free from this
Final
weird,
bone.
torturous existence. They can
Okay.
show the power of Oberon and be done.
Okay, cool. All right. I think that's really interesting. And I think that for the Quester, I think their only thing is that they don't want the. I think that they would want to make sure that the Guardian is not only doing this out of, like, duty. I think that they, like, you know, to some extent that's all right, because we all have our roles to play. Like, I'm the Quester and you're the Guardian, and that's just sort of who we are. But I feel like they wouldn't want it to only be that, and would probably be, like, hesitant to continue if it was only an obligation and not something more, whatever that something might be. Whether that's, like, it doesn't have to be like, and now we are, like, you know, lovers or whatever, but just, you know, for it to mean something more to each of them than just to duty, I think is what they would want.
Yeah, I think for the Guardian, like the way we've set up, like the way that the power or whatever is meant to be attained, it's probably in a classic defeat the monster, get the power sense, but it's only been weirdos that have ever come here. And so that it's less of a thing I have to do, and it's more of a like a thing that I've done and that is more enjoyable than fighting and killing people.
And it's interesting because, like, you can totally say that this is not the case, but it kind of sounds like, you know, all the other people who came to this cavern came so that they could bone the monster. Monster is not the right word that I wanted to use, but you know what I mean. But the Quester, like, didn't come here for that. Didn't didn't care about that. I'm not even sure that they knew about that, and came like for their actual mission. And like, this is not happening because they wanted to get their freak on. It's happening because they feel in their mind that, like, they have made a connection with the Guardian in some sense that is deeper than, you know, someone coming to get betentacled. And so maybe there's something there. Like, it's almost like breaking the curse kind of a thing. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like true love's kiss, but there's no kissing because...
Yeah. Something along those lines.
True love's tentacle.
There it is. And is that where we roll the bones?
Yeah, I think that's a good place to roll.
Yeah.
I got a 5 again.
I got a 5 too! This is fucking crazy, yo.
Where did I put mine? Where's my turtle? Come to me, Truck-kun. It's finally starting to cool down, but that's just because it's getting later in the day.
Okay, I have gotten a card called the Topsy Turvies, which is a stack of little goblin creatures all looking at something. Like if anyone's seen Labyrinth, where all of the little goblins are behind the mirror like, did she say it? That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what they look like, and it's exactly what they look like because it's the same artist who did the concept art for the movie. But yeah, and it's called the Topsy Turvies. So interesting.
I got the Page of Cups, which is creativity, possibility, messages, imagination.
Okay, nice. I feel like that indicates that like things are being turned on their head a little bit, like a change is in the air almost. Um,
Mm-hmm. Well, so like the last thing we got, it was like change, rebirth,
mhm,
transformation, and now this one is it's sort of like we're past the initial spark,
mhm,
and now we're into the the playful discovery
mhm.
of that change.
Yeah, it's a little more like yeah, playful. There's a little more chaos. Like
Mm-hmm.
um, and thinking about
Like
just the phrasing of the card topsy turvy is kind of like it's really sort of fun almost.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and sort of like this started out as them both sort of like we're this is our mission, our duty, we're here, and it's like, oh, there's this thing we weren't expecting, and then it was like we're going to do this, but still holding on to the duty or whatever we had until deciding it's like, no, we're gonna do this for ourselves.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I like that a lot. Oh.
I like the picture, the bone tools.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh my god, Cow Tools reference. Yes.
So now we're on to the actually boning.
Indeed.
This time, it's not a pun. How the game works, this section of the game is up to you. You've had all the discussions you need to know what you'll be getting up to. So if the vibe is right, you can roleplay your way through the whole scene of hot skeleton boning. You're also welcome to just draw a curtain across the scene and move on. No pressure. Either way, once you've finished, it's time to roll the bones.
How do you want to do this?
Well, we know that they're in the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of become darkened with the grime of the ooze, even though, we also said that they're spending a long time here. So that might, especially with, there being like, rebirth and change, that maybe the water is clean again and there is sort of a symbiotic
Mm-hmm.
bone, tentacle, bone action going on.
Yeah. I think I'm wondering if it's almost like it starts out with this sort of oozy darkness that I'm wondering if that starts to get like burned away a little bit by like the power of awesome skeleton sex. What am I trying to say? Cuz like I feel like the quester at some point, once they get sort of past the initial awkward hurdle, and once they start to like, get
Get in the rhythm.
fully into the situation, I feel like the quester would sort of start glowing a little bit, like trying to restrain it because they know that it's not good for the guardian, but it's almost like a
Mm-hmm.
blush where like the same way that the ooze is not entirely controllable, this light that is emanating them from like the sort of satisfaction and pleasure that they're experiencing, it almost just emits from them in like a glow that they can't quite tame all the way. And I feel like those two forces are almost like canceling each other out a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. It's almost like trying to stifle a moan because you don't want to get caught.
Yeah, something like that. Ooh, that's good. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I feel like definitely just like tentacles everywhere. Like cool water tentacles. Because if you're just a skeleton, you can really get up in there, you know? Like kind of wherever you want.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You can make it your home.
You can, yeah. Yeah.
And I'd like to think because, like, Guardian is essentially a ribcage, tail, a deer head with tentacles that are, like, mostly attached to its spine. That is, it becomes almost like a harness, almost like, you know, a face hugger. If you're like, you know, if you're into
oh my god, that's so good, actually.
But it's like more attaching to the body rather than the face.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
It's a body hugger with tentacles.
That's great. 10 out of 10. No notes. I think that's beautiful. Yeah, the art is percolating in my hands. Is what I'll say.
Just like I'm imagining just like scrolling like B-Sky in like my timeline, and then I just see this weird skeleton sex. I feel like I would just stop and I just have to stare at for a while, be like, what am I looking at?
And the thing about it is that no one will understand.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh my god, it's so moving and important. And everyone else will just be like, why is... why? But you know, that is a burden I'm willing to bear. I don't have anything else to say. I think that everything that we have said so far speaks for itself. Yeah. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we can roll the bones unless there's anything you want to add here.
No, I feel like chest harness tentacles. I think that that covers it.
You can't top that because it's topping you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's tops and we're all out of bottoms.
That's right. That is right.
Okay. Come on, dice. Don't betray me. I know what the dice are going to do to me. Hey, I rolled a 5 again.
Okay, I also rolled a 5 again. That should not be possible.
Holy heck. The dice know. They're up to something.
They know, and they're up to something. And the card that I've drawn is the Fairy of the Waters, which is so appropriate. Waters indeed.
Let's see what I got. I got the Page of Swords. That's interesting. Let's see what that means. Been getting a lot of page stuff. Oh, I skipped it. Page of Swords. Knowledge, new communication, inquiry, change.
Okay.
So I feel like what this means is that the memory, the person that has sort of been forgotten deep into the abyss of time of being this guardian is finally reawoken, is like can properly communicate now.
Ah, cool. Hello. I was wondering where you were. You're here. It's so good. Ow. Okay.
So you've learned it here. If you're having trouble talking, fucking is the way to fix it.
This, you can't argue with that. I'm glad we're learning important lessons here.
Mm-hmm. So that means we're on to osteopathy now.
Indeed. I guess it's my turn. Osteopathy. To quote everyone's favorite Scottish king, the deed is done. And after all good sex comes aftercare, but what kind of sex was this? Your guard is down and you've shared an experience. It's time to wash that blood off your hands, skeleton. How the game works. Each player says what they do or don't do after the experience to look after themselves or the other players. The other player reacts and says how they respond or don't respond to this. You can say what you do or roleplay a scene of the aftercare. If nothing jumps to mind for you, refer to the prompts list below. Once you've each said what you do and reacted, it's time to roll the bones. Okay, each say what we do or don't do after the experience to look after themselves or the other players. Okay.
I can start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I am stumped as to what to say here.
Okay, so I think Guardian, in its mind, like the quester can finally see the person that it was, or at least maybe not see the flesh person, because I think the memory is so far away that they don't even know what they used to look like. But there's an actual like form of them now of it, and it just kind of wants to be a like a person for a bit and just like talk about stuff. So it's less about like, oh, was the sex good, or stuff like that. It's just like, oh, like, I've always wondered how the water felt, stuff like that. Sort of just like mundane talking, while I guess still harnessed.
Yeah. I think that works because I think the quester is probably very interested to know who this person is now that they're fully here and can, tell the quester about themselves or itself. I think that they would just let it talk as much as it wants, ask questions, and just sort of be a presence there who is sort of actively listening and engaging to, because I imagine after so long of not really being able to put words to things or to communicate in this way, probably the Guardian has a lot to say. And I think just being very curious and present about that is probably what the quester would do, because that's kind of what they're interested in knowing in the first place. They were really curious about who this was, especially with the visions of their past life, and not just about who they were, but what are their goals, what are their motivations, what are they feeling, that kind of thing. So it would be oh, hell ye, now we can actually have this conversation and know each other a little bit more.
Yeah, I think the way the Guardian speaks, it's eloquent, but is very old eloquent. So it'd be like us talking to someone that's speaking old English now.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And it's interesting because I think that, so like, the Guardian is pretty ancient. The Quester is not ancient, I don't think. Like, they are a skeleton, but the thing about it is that because of the amount of sort of post-death work that has been done to the bones, I think, and the condition that the bones are in as well, I feel like it paints a picture of like their skeleton was actively used for like to become a vessel for this quest. Like someone died in the community and the order, whatever order it is, was like, this person has been chosen to be our skeleton, and they like stripped the skeleton and like put their things on it. And so the Quester's actually not that old, and so I feel like would have a very interesting time of both sort of trying to figure out what the Guardian is saying, like understanding wise, but also being really curious about like, wow, in this world that you have inhabited, like you have this whole other perspective on things that like I've never known before, and be like fascinated about that as well.
Very interesting dynamic.
Indeed.
New and old, light and dark.
The contrasts are insane.
Shiny and mucky.
Shiny and mucky. It was there from the start. It really was. Wow, amazing.
Is there anything else that the Quester would do in this, like how they would want their post bone care?
I don't think so, besides sort of what we have already said. Because I think that based on everything we've said so far, I think that the Quester had a nice time. And also because it was like it was such a personal thing for them, where they were like, this one is for me and not for my mission. I think that they would sort of not really, ironically, sort of not really be thinking about themselves in this moment, like not thinking about like what they should do, what they need to do, like what they want, but they would just be like sort of absorbed in the stories that they're being told, and in the moment, I guess, and not really like thinking about much else besides just maybe I think this is probably the first time that the Quester has not really been thinking about the quest itself, and is just like very in the moment. Yeah.
I think that leads us into rolling the bones.
Indeed.
Oh, I got a 2.
I got a 2 too.
That's amazing.
I'm not even kidding.
We're synced up.
We are, and I got a card called The Friends.
Oh my god.
The Friends.
5 of Swords. I don't.
Okay.
So this tarot deck, it doesn't have art for every single piece. It's just the major arcana and the like knight, queen page stuff.
Okay.
So some of these I actually do need to look up a little bit.
Yeah.
To get vibes. But it was worth getting solely for the fact that Truckcoon is death.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so no, wait, that's the Four of Swords. I need 5. This book is so tiny for my hands. Okay, interesting. Ego, conflict, negativity, defeat, competition, direction. But
Okay.
also got a but also got a 2, so that would make me think it's like that, but it's not like an overwhelming amount of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting.
Hmm.
Um,
Maybe it's the ooze.
okay.
So the ooze is like been maybe keeping th- this sentience like pushed down so it can be more effective as a guardian, and now it's finally free to think on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's like a push and pull between the guardian itself and the ooze,
Ooh, okay.
almost like maybe a jealous lover. Maybe that's it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that. That's really interesting. Um, how would this manifest, do you think, in the sort of scene?
Maybe like the ooze is trying to like pull it away, like it's trying to get us like unharnessed from each other, so we're not doing the skeleton hug.
Mm. Isn't there somebody you forgot to ask? Um, yeah, I mean, well, because the ooze, so since the guardian is sort of clamped around the quester, I feel like maybe the ooze is like pushing between, like sort of pushing and gathering between the two of them almost to sort of like gather between like my bones and your bones and like to
Mm-hmm.
unclamp you sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um and I feel like the quester would be uncertain about how much of that is coming from the guardian and if that's what the guardian wants to do or whether it's something that the guardian is sort of like fighting against, and would try to get a sense of like, you know, I will let you let go of me if you want to, but if that's not what you want, like, can I help in some way?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty clear. Like this is the ooze represents like the old life of the guardian, and they're wanting a new thing. They want to be free from
Mm-hmm.
their bonds, so to speak.
Yeah. I wonder if this doesn't come to a conclusion quite yet. If it comes to a conclusion in the next section, maybe?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think that one is Yorn.
Yes, a memento mori. It's the end of the night. Maybe this was the start of something more, or just a one night bone. Now it's time to make choices about how you leave and what you leave behind. How this game works. Together, you will decide what happens when the boning ends by talking through a set of questions and prompts together. Once you work through the list, it's time to end the game.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Our first question is: do you hang around to talk or spend time, or is this the one you're ready to leave right away?
Um, I know certainly the quester is not about to leave right away. Uh, both, I think, because there is this nagging sensation of like, I did come here to find something, and well, the thing that I found was different than the thing that someone sent me to
Mm-hmm.
find. But I think that there is still a like almost reluctant or guilty feeling of like, I guess, should I still look for that, or should I just pretend that I like came here and didn't find it and just leave it alone and, forget the mission. But also is hesitant to leave because they can sense that there is this conflict within the Guardian and would not want to like leave and sort of abandon them to deal with that by themselves unless they asked her to go. Um, so that's the question's end, I think.
Yeah, I think the Guardian, like, I think they'd feel a mutual thing. They want to keep this going. They want to be free of this, I guess, curse. Ultimately, it's a curse that they want to, finally move on to the next journey in their life.
Yeah.
So spending time with the quester, which seems to be their way of doing that, makes sense.
Yeah. I'm also I have a very cheesy sort of conclusion to this situation in my mind, which is
Yeah, hit me
like
with it.
a Beauty and the Beast style like transformation sequence. It doesn't have to be like physical transformation, but like as the Guardian is sort of clamped there around the quester and the ooze is sort of trying to get between them, um maybe the light from the quester maybe has this like almost you know effect where it can burn away the ooze that, now that is something that the Guardian might want, like if the quester could like sort of burn that all away so that only like the true Guardian themselves is left and the sort of curse is burned away, and then maybe that like would lead into number 2 of like, oh, now that this thing is gone, like we could be our true selves. I don't know. What do you think? That's very
Okay,
cheesy.
so and sort of rolling with that, I had an idea. So there's
Yeah.
also the power here, right? The scepter of Oberon, whether that's an actual
Yes.
scepter or just the title of power.
Yeah.
But what if burning away the ooze and the sort of like, Beauty and the Beast style thing that actually reveals like their true selves, because Titania is the queen of summer, which is represented by like the sun, and the quester's whole motif is the sun. So what if like they return back to their like original sort of fey form
Yeah. Okay.
as part of
Yeah.
destroying the ooze,
This is
ending the
what I was
curse, which will
thinking.
also would finish the the ritual or whatever, or just the fact that the curse is destroyed, the power of Oberon and Titania is finally free to come out again.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That is also an aspect I was thinking about, but I hadn't said it yet.
And I
And
like
so I'm
the
glad
sort
that
of
you said
the
it.
image, because like the way they were sort of, the way I was imagining them like holding each other
Mm-hmm.
is the rib cage is sort of clamped around the back, so it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like hugging from behind. So when they was the scepter of Oberon was activated, and it brought them back to their fayish
Mm-hmm.
flesh forms, that it's them like hugging each other for the
Yeah!
completion.
Excellent. Oh my god, that's so good. I'm crying. I'm crying. I love that. Again, 10 out of 10 no nits.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So do you want to share the names? Because I feel like they would share their names, or maybe they don't share. They actually just know who each other are now that they're
I think
you know
so. Yeah.
unburdened.
Yeah, I do feel like. Well, here's the question that I have. The Guardian, I feel like, has the name of like the maybe Fae person that they were before, but I don't think that they would know probably the person who the quester was in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is it like the mortal forms of the Guardian, the quester, or did one of them get transformed by the scepter like into someone else, or given like a memory of another life as well as their own? Or I'm just trying to figure out that aspect of it.
Okay, here's a wild idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, what if the scepter of Oberon
Mm-hmm.
is? This is gonna be silly, but
No,
we've
no.
already been playing.
I want to
So the
know
scepter of
if you're thinking what
Oberon
I'm thinking.
doesn't refer to a like an object, but a part of a person, and that person that was the guardian is Oberon, and his scepter, and the transformation is the person that coupled with Oberon, and that
Yes.
person becomes like Titania. So Titania is a title, as well as Oberon being a title.
Yeah, yes. Because, okay, so that really works with kind of what I was thinking before, but I wasn't exactly sure the structure of it, where I was like, the scepter of Oberon doesn't have to be like this magic item. Like, I was always sort of thinking there's got to be something else to it, which I had thought maybe was because, like, you can have. I feel like in stories, there's always people who are referred to as, like, the right hand of the king or whatever. Like, the scepter of
Mm-hmm.
Oberon could be his whatever, like a title so that sort of refers to
Yeah.
a person. And so instead of like, the order that sent the quester misunderstood or was tricked, or, there's all sorts of fake shit that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Thought that there would be a magic item that would like turn you into this powerful lord, and that's sort of true, but not in the way that they thought, because it doesn't like make you the human person in like, magically into a royal being, but it does transform you into something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's great. And I do
Yeah.
feel like it would be super interesting to, if like the Queen of Air and Darkness or one of her minions is a vampire or something, like put a curse, like a revenge curse or like just a spite curse on Oberon and Titania. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that is sort of like how the Guardian ended up like being like that, because there's a lot of petty stuff that goes on in the courts, and that seems like something that might happen.
Yeah, for real.
Cool. Great. Well, I can tell
Ooh.
you the name that I wrote down, but I don't think it's the quester's name anymore.
Yeah.
uh, the name that I wrote down was
I wrote down Ozymandias.
Nice. Very good.
But yeah, I like where this led. And honestly, I can see like a picture that is like them in their, flesh forms holding
Mhm.
each other, and in the pool of the water is reflected of their previous
Ooh,
selves as the
yeah.
skeletons holding. I think that'd be a cool picture.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That sounds awesome. Lots of very strong images in this
Mm-hmm.
game. Uh,
Hard as bone.
Indeed.
But I think
Let's
that means we did
see.
it,
Yeah,
right?
uh,
We have a conclusion.
I think that's a pretty solid story that we've got.
Instead of love, like, what's the saying? Love ever after? No. What's the saying? My brain isn't braining right now because it's
Happily
so
ever
hot.
after?
There we go. Happily ever after. It's happily after death
Mm.
because we were
Yes.
dead and then we got happy.
Oh boy, did we get happy.
Yeah.
Well, this was
The question
awesome.
is there still tentacles after?
I feel like
Is
Oberon
there
can choose.
like vine tentacles instead of ooze tentacles?
Yeah, he can do anything he wants.
Yeah. He and his scepter.
He's got a scepter, all right. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, that was bad. Um, that was not at all how I expected that to go, and yet it was awesome. I don't know what
The
I expected, but
Yeah, the first time I played it, it ended up with
yeah,
the
I'm really
skeletons
curious.
being unsatisfied because one, it was a skeleton with a whip that was essentially Indiana Jones, and then just
Okay.
a giant skull. So the giant skull couldn't really do anything. So there was some
A little bit of
unsatisfactory.
mismatch there, but
Yeah, but
I
this one's
feel
actually
like
pretty poetic.
yeah, I'm sorry. I feel like that might be my fault. I tend to play role playing games slightly too sincerely, or more on the sincere side. And I feel like this game, when I read it, I was like, oh, I don't usually play things that have a lot of parody or like
Mm.
humor in them. Not like I play things that are never funny, but I just was not sure like how that would mesh. And so, but I think it turned out well. It just sort of worked itself out, you know.
Yeah, I think it does a good job representing instruments. So, like, there's awkwardness at some points, there's funny points, there's intense points.
Mhm.
Like, I
Yeah,
think it it did that well
yeah, it
through the
did. Yeah,
power of hot skeleton fucking.
and there it is. That's the name of the game.
Hmm. The balls have been tooted.
Now, there were a surprising lack of balls in this game.
You're not
But
wrong.
we make our own balls, I guess.
That is a good. It does make me wonder where are the balls and when did we toot them?
Where, yeah, and you know
Maybe
the
it's balls because it's like it's sort of meant as a pair. So we are the ball, and then
oh, we are the
there's the skeleton.
balls.
Yeah,
I see. You know, it all makes sense. I certainly feel tooted, don't you?
yeah, very tooted.
Yeah, awesome. But yeah, I was really interested to hear about your previous playthrough because I was like, I just know it didn't go like this last time. I just know it. And I was
Yeah,
very curious.
it was very silly.
Mm, that's cool though that it has like that versatility where you can do lots of different things with it.
I could definitely see some people getting like real in depth on the skeleton sex.
Oh, for sure. And I respect it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Same.
And I wanna hear about it. I wanna see it. If anyone out there does it, tell me about it.
Yes, I want to hear as well.
Yes.
Tell me when you toot on balls.
Indeed.
But
Is there anything else from
I,
us, or is that it?
I think that's it. We should play some other 2-player stuff, or
We
we could
should.
do some one like GM 1-player. We
Yeah,
could do
I
that
would
at
be
some point.
super down for that. I am. Yeah, we should chat and figure out some stuff because this was really fun. I would like
Mm-hmm.
to do a more like it.
Yeah. So, do you want to look for a raid target?
Oh yes. Let me see
I know
what.
some friends they were doing an archipelago thing, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with archipelago as a gaming concept, not as its land-based concept.
I am not.
So essentially, what it is that a group of people, you can either play all the same game or you can play different games, and one person's play the game they're playing will influence other people's games, and it's all randomized games. So like if you're playing Dark
Hmm.
Souls, for instance, the items in the game are randomized, and you
Mhm.
have sort of like quests that you need to do and to like lock stuff for other people.
Mhm.
I've been seeing it pop up recently.
Hmm.
But it's very interesting, and a friend, she is doing that with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So we could raid into her. I think she is still streaming.
Yeah, we could
I'll
do
send
that.
you the. Let me. Do. And she hasn't been streaming that long, so that's
Mm-hmm.
also good. There we go. I sent her to you.
Okay. Yeah, I will put that in. Okay. I've got it queued up. I'm
Yeah,
ready
let
when
me
you are.
also do that. But it was a lot of fun,
Mm-hmm.
and we will. I'm assuming we'll probably do something next Friday. I don't. Oh no,
Yeah.
you have your.
Oh.
When's your all your stuff
Oh.
you're doing your big stuff.
It's not for a couple weeks. So, and it's
Oh,
on a
okay.
Saturday. So for next Friday, as far as I know, am free.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So we can do whatever we want.
Yeah, but I have entered the raid.
Okay. I'm coming in.